I remember when me and her were doing the Devil's Tango. Her eyes rolled back, and I am not joking, this girl was a demon. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a super weird, and I gotta say, embarrassing story. So this story takes place back in my grade 10 year, and in grade 10, I'm not gonna lie, like I usually say in almost every video, I was a major player to the point where I'm not gonna lie, a lot of girls didn't like me, but a lot of girls like to put me to the test. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, basically, I would have like some girls that would come up to me and basically challenge me to do the Devil's Tango with them because they didn't believe I was actually that good at doing the Devil's Tango. But I remember there was one certain girl that I knew in my school that was a massive, well, how do I put this? She would do the Devil's Tango more than me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when a girl has a higher body count than I do, I find it kind of suspicious, but at the same time, kind of a game. Because like I said earlier, I was a massive player, right? So meeting a girl like me is sometimes really scary. But I remember one time I was hanging out with a group of boys in the cafeteria, and all of us were just talking about, you know, basically our notches and our body counts, you know, typical stuff most boys talk about, other than sports and the stock market, obviously. But at the same time, none of us really actually cared for the stock market. But like I was saying earlier, we were all talking about this, and then out of nowhere, I remember there was a girl that was kind of sitting near us that heard our whole conversation. And when she heard that my body count was almost higher than hers, I remember she walked up to me and said, "Wait, you're Bubba, right?" Yeah, what's going on? Well, like, I don't know, I just heard like your body count's way higher than mine. Are you like actually able to like, you know, do the job right? I remember I looked at this girl and I did not know what to say because obviously, you know, it's kind of weird when someone just confronts you like that, especially a girl. So I looked at her and said, like, I don't know, I like to stay humble, I guess. And she ended up smiling. She ended up basically telling me afterwards, "Oh, like, just give me your phone real quick." And she ended up grabbing my phone and putting her number in, not even her Snapchat, not any other social media, just her number. And she told me, hit me up after. And she walked away. I remember all the boys looked at me, and one of the boys ended up telling me, "Yo, Bubba, you know who that was, right?" No, who was that? Bro, that girl, I'm not joking, she's almost a bigger player than you. Like, I'm not joking, almost every guy in the school has done her. And I kind of got disgusted. I got really grossed out because obviously, like, for girls to have a high body count is kind of rare, I guess. And in a way, like, it just didn't sit well with me personally. I know that's really weird for me to say once again, but honestly, it is what it is. I remember like the day went on and I ended up going and walking around the school, but every time I would walk around the school going to my next class or just heading to the field, randomly at moments I would end up seeing this girl looking at me and staring at me around the hallway in the school. So at that point I knew that she really just wanted my attention and she just really wanted to talk to me, I guess, like, you know, interact with me. So I ended up texting her when I got to my next class and texted her saying, "Hey," with 3 Y's. I don't know why I put 3 Y's. Apparently it's like a flirty way of saying hello to someone, but honestly I decided to shoot my shot with this girl and see what she was really about. I remember she instantly texted me back, and me and her, we got into really deep conversations about, you know, how we didn't see having a high body count was a weird thing and how we basically did not really care emotionally so much about doing the Devil's Tango, and we just wanted to do it. Also, I'm gonna mention a quick warning on the channel. I just want to say no one should do what I do. I'm not trying to promote doing the Devil's Tango. Like, this was my mindset back when I was a teenager, and honestly hormones really took over me compared to actually using my brain. So don't do what I do, please, I beg of you. I remember as me and this girl were texting still though, out of nowhere she ended up sending me a photo, and I ended up opening it and I saw it was a photo of her cherries, but she took this photo in the school bathroom. I found this really weird, and at the same time I did end up getting bricked. And she texted me saying, "Do you want to meet up with me real quick?" I can't, I'm in class right now." When has that ever stopped you? I really just can't. I don't know, I have to actually pay attention. Now usually in my grade 10 year I would go out of my way and actually go see this girl and probably do the Devil's Tango with her somewhere in the school, but honestly at this time when it was happening, I'm not gonna lie, I think I was failing my class almost, so obviously I wanted to pay attention more than actually, you know, do what I usually would do. So I remember I ended up shutting off my phone fully, and basically I ended up paying attention to class. But out of nowhere, as I'm in the middle of just class and this teacher was teaching me something, I ended up looking to my left where the door was for the classroom, and I saw the girl that was texting me ended up walking in and saying, "Hey, sorry to disturb, apparently the counselor wants to talk to you." I remember I looked at her questioning why in the world the counselor would want to talk to me out of nowhere, but then afterwards I started realizing she ended up winking at me, and when me and her, we ended up walking out of the classroom, she instantly came on top of me and started making out with me in the hallway. Like, me and her weren't even 5 inches away from the door yet, and she was already like hopping on me like crazy. I found this mind-blowing, and I found this really, really weird. And told her right after, yo, I don't think we should do this. Like, honestly, we need to calm down, okay? Like, I understand, like, you really want to do it with me, but like, you know, we can actually like make up a proper time and date to do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sorry. I guess I can't control myself. I'm just more active than you, I guess. What do you mean more active than me? Like, you know, I probably want it more than you do. Well, no, it's not like that. I just, you know, I just gotta focus in class. No, I get it. You have your priorities straight. And she ended up walking away. I ended up going back into the classroom, and the teacher found it really odd how I left the classroom for literally less than like 2 minutes to go apparently talk to the counselor. And yeah, one thing led to another. I knew at that moment that this girl was some type of crazy. I remember when school ended that day, I ended up basically texting this girl saying, hey, like, I'm down to like meet up after school if you want. We could like probably like go do something. What do you want to do? I don't know. Me and you could, I guess, walk around the mall and eventually, I don't know, maybe head back to my place if you're down. Which I was luckily able to say because my parents weren't going to be home that day. So obviously I could have a girl over and do the Devil's Tango. And I remember when I told this girl that, she ended up sending me a winky face and then the tongue emoji. Yeah, really out of nowhere. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, hey, I'm not gonna complain. Because like I said earlier, I was a major player. So this was really not uncommon for me, but it was very uncommon for a girl to want it this much. But later on, I'm telling you guys right now, you guys are gonna see why she wanted it this much. Because I remember when me and her, we actually met up in front of the school finally. Me and her, we ended up walking to the mall together. And when we walked around the mall, the whole time, the only plan that she had in mind was to make me bricked. Like there would be moments when we're just sitting down and all she would talk about is my eggplant. Like, bro, it was super weird because she's never even seen it either. So I didn't know what was wrong with this girl. And I'm like, okay, listen, you need to like calm down a bit, because it got to the point where I'm not gonna lie, I found her less attractive from how much she was wanting it. And then one thing led to another. I remember it was like getting late and I looked at her and said, hey, so you down to like, I guess, come over if you want? She ended up nodding her head yes. And me and her, we ended up basically heading straight to my place right after. When we finally got to my place, I remember me and her, we ended up going straight to the bedroom, obviously. And I sat down on my bed just to sit, by the way, not to do anything else. And out of nowhere, she decides to sit right on top of me. And me and her, we did the Devil's Tango, which I will say is no surprise. But honestly, I will say this. During the Devil's Tango, I am not joking. When she was looking at me the entire time, her eyes would roll up and like all you could see is just white in her eyes. Like, I don't know why she was rolling her eyes up like some weirdo, but like it became super gross. And I'm not gonna lie to you, every time I looked at her face, I instantly just wasn't bricked anymore. I was so grossed out because like when this girl would do this, I guess some people would find this attractive, but I really didn't. But this girl acted like a demon. Like her voice would get deeper and be like, oh yeah, like in really weird ways. And I got super grossed out and I ended up hopping off her and I'm like, yo, what in the world? Like, why do you sound like that? Why do you sound like a monster? What do you mean? I don't sound like a monster. Nah, but you acting like a demon, bro, in bed. Like, are you good, bro? Is what I told her right after. She ended up basically standing up and looking at me. She's like, what's your problem? Like, don't you like that? No, not really. If you can't handle me going demon mode, then I don't think you can handle any girl. And at that moment, I looked at her questioning what in the world did she just say to me? But as I was questioning it, she ended up getting up off my bed, putting on her clothes and leaving. She, no joke, just left my house as if nothing happened. I found this super weird and honestly, it made me question the morals of some women nowadays. But at the same time, am I really one to question it because of how much I've done growing up? I don't really know. But all I'm gonna say is that if you guys don't want this happen to you, in my opinion, just follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.